Hey, how are you doing there? Fat guys should not wear horizontal stripes. I'll edit this shirt out of this video. I'll green screen it with a vertical stripe shirt. How you doing? The most important stuff, actually all the important stuff, none of it was taught to us in school, high school, college, or otherwise. Kind of says a lot, doesn't it? One of the things I've been meaning to make, I have a list of videos that I like to do. I've been meaning to actually make this video for some time now. It's rather simple, of course. I'm going to start out with the premise of Occam's razor, or in simple regarding natura naturans, or Mother Nature, is that everything must be explained simply. It can't be absurd or crazy, and Mother Nature, natura naturans, necessitatively must follow Occam's razor. Human beings, of course, we like to pigeonhole things. It's like, here's this over here, and here's that over here. Regarding galactic phenomena in neutron stars, pulsars of various different types, and interestingly enough, they have different emissions, and they have different spin rates. Actually, here we go. Get that right. And they're actually following the interior geometry of the three-dimensional force curve. There's an interesting lowest pressure zone in a magnet, interestingly enough, but maybe interesting to you. Like if this were a magnet, we know about the plane of inertia that actually sits, whoops, I kind of flipped that in my face there. Too much caffeine. Don't drink too much caffeine before making a video. This sits at the lowest pressure zone between magnetic divergences. And the lowest pressure zone between the hyperboloidal dielectric of increasing inertia and acceleration and the centrifugal force and motion vector of magnetism is this pressure zone of the torus, or the donut. And we've seen, and I think we've got, over 2,000 pulsars have been detected in total. Most of these rotate on the order of once per second, sometimes called slow pulsars, some a lot faster, some even slower than that, and that, of course, is due to their density and their makeup. But, combining all these things into one, and this enigmatic phenomena called a black hole, and of course a black hole is not a hole. The only reason we call it black is because it's vanished from the visible universe. The only thing, as I've said many times in many countless videos, that keeps anything within the visible universe is magnetism, and magnetism only. The volume of the donut, and I know this apple isn't precisely a donut, but it is a torus. Anything within the visible universe is magnetism, i.e. the volume of this apple, or the volume of a donut. The only thing that keeps it in the visible universe is magnetism. But magnetism is a dielectric field. When dielectric increasing inertia and acceleration are so incredibly powerful, that volume vanishes from the visible universe because dielectricity has overthrown magnetism's ability to keep it within the visible Cartesian universe of Cartesian vectors, x, y, z axis, because mass and magnitude and volume, the volume of the torus, and resultantly, of course, of any object, is only in this visible universe, that Cartesian footprint, due to magnetism. So by actually explaining things really simply, we can actually take all these different phenomena that scientists love to talk. Well, here we have an X-ray pulsar, and over here we have a gamma ray neutron star. Over here we have a magnetar. And over here we have this magical phenomena that's so fascinating. Scientists consider it to be the holy grail of trying to comprehend it, and they love to speculate about it endlessly. Black holes. And there's not a single scientist on this earth that has ever made the connection, because none of them can think clearly. They can think deeply, but they can't think clearly. And of course, I'd hearken back to Nikola Tesla's quote that there are many scientists, something to the effect, who can think deeply, but they can't think clearly. They're quite insane. One has to be able to think deeply and clearly. I know that's not the exact quote, but that's essentially what Nikola Tesla said. Someone will actually post up the exact quote from Tesla somewhere in the comments. So what if all these phenomena are just different modalities of magnitude, magnitudes of power? Smaller the space, the higher the capacitance. a black hole has a spatial area of influence, but it has no spatial footprint. Pulsars of every variety and all neutron stars have Cartesian value within the visible universe. And the greater the density and the greater the power, i.e. the greater the volume thereof, the several factors that actually make that up as far as what its emissions are. And it always, these phenomena, including black holes, have all their emissions at the geomagnetic precessional axis. This is called the Lemur frequency. The Lemur frequency average on magnetism is 42 megahertz, the precessional rotation of a geomagnetic precession. Look that up, it's called the Lemur frequency. So we could take all neutron stars, all pulsars, and all black holes and lump them into one phenomena with different classes of magnitude. Very simply, making Mother Nature really, really simple, because Mother Nature is a hairy armpit chick with muddy feet, hemp skirt, and dreadlocks, and she doesn't use a calculator. Well, how can we do that? Because no scientist has ever done that before. And Mother Nature must be really, really, really simple. So we've classified all these things as different entities. Every scientist has anyway. Pulsars over here is a different type of neutron star. This is an X-ray emission neutron star. This is a gamma ray neutron star. And over here we have this really weird phenomena called black holes. Look up the phenomena called astrophysical jets. There are many, many examples of it. We actually photograph these in X-ray and also to invisible light. And most galaxies have black holes at their centers, and we have countless photographs of astrophysical jets. There are also two called Galactic Jets. They're both one and the same thing. They actually go by Galactic Jets. You can Google search that, or Astrophysical Jets. So we have the emissions of X-ray, gamma, of various types of neutron stars, pulsars, that are actually, spinning, and of course, depending on their directional orientation to Earth, we can actually use those as points of reference, and also too for timing, because their timing is incredibly precise, almost like an atomic clock for super precise calculation for time. But all of these are emitting greater and greater intensities. Yeah, I'm getting to the key point of this video. Greater intensities of the coaxial circuit of light, because X-ray, gamma ray on these pulsars and these neutron stars are nothing other than different capacitances of light. The greater the power, the smaller the space, and therefore the higher the capacitance. Well, there's nothing more dense, but it has no density in the conventional sense because it's not within the visible universe. Dielectrics overthrown the ability of a so-called black hole to exist within this visible universe. But these galactic jets, these astrophysical jets, both refer to one and the same phenomena, are emitting out trillions and trillions and trillions of tons of hydrogen. And exactly the geomagnetic precession, not the same frequency, but the same precessional force vector of geomagnetic precession. As I've said before in another video, and of course all matter is nothing other than a compound of hydrogen. Every atom in the universe, whether it be gold or silver or uranium, platinum, so on and so forth, these are just compound multiplicatives of hydrogen. Galactic jets, i.e. astrophysical jets, both referring to one and the same thing, are doing nothing other than emitting super high energy light. And it makes perfect sense that at different levels of intensity, say this is a X-ray pulsar neutron star, something a little bit bigger is a gamma ray neutron star, and something else supermassive but has no footprint in the visible universe because dielectricity has overthrown its ability, so it would be this. It'd be nothing there. It has no Cartesian footprint. Something the greatest power is emitting trillions and trillions of tons of hydrogen. The only thing it's doing is emitting much, 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 much higher energy light. So this makes Mother Nature really simple, falls in line with Occam's razor, and it makes explaining cosmic phenomena incredibly simple, such that you could even explain it to a child and say, "Little Billy, yeah, little Billy has a question. I heard about pulsars and neutron stars and black holes. All this stuff seems confusing, Mr. Teacher." It's like, well, let's explain it really simple. Yeah. These are all one and the same thing with different capacitances and therefore different powers. And each one, the only thing they're doing is emitting different intensities of light. Over here, we'll have magnetars. Here we have, I think there's infrared pulsars, X-ray pulsars, gamma-ray neutron stars, pulsar. And over here we have something super neat. It's so huge and so supermassive that it has vanished from the visible universe. It has attained to a point source singularity that has no Cartesian value, but its power is so great that it's emitting super high energy light, little Billy. The super high energy light's the building block of all matter. It's emitting hydrogen, and hydrogen, little Billy, is nothing other than super, super high energy light. The statement that everything is light is actually accurate. Doesn't that make all this stuff really simple? You could take all neutron stars, all pulsars, and black holes and say they're one and the exact same thing. And they are one and the exact same thing. All light is light. They're only typified by their frequencies. And the higher the frequency, the smaller the space. And the smaller the space, the higher the capacitance. And the higher the capacitance, the greater the power. Well, imagine the frequency so high that it actually entropies upon the dielectric, which is its source. The dielectric of entropy is what ignorant scientists call the photon. What if the frequency is so incredibly high that all entropy is lost, and then we have what is essentially a ZTP, a zero-time particle. But a zero-time particle is not actually a particle because light is not a particle. There's no such thing as a photon. That's a conceptual abstraction of the coaxial nature of light. What it is the fundamental building block of all matter that everything is made up of. Hydrogen, which is just super high energy light. And this is the reason why we see galactic jets, which are emissions from black holes, which are not actually holes, emitting out trillions of tons of hydrogen, which is just light. It makes all of this stuff super simple. These human beings love to pigeonhole things. Over here we have ice, and over here we have this wet stuff called water, and over here we got steam. It's vaporous and hot. It's like, no, it's all one and the same thing. Different temperature and pressure modalities, you have different modalities of water. Different capacitances, different magnitudes, have different emissions as reflectance of their capacitances and their powers in respect to their magnitudes. X-ray pulsars, gamma-ray pulsars, and then hydrogen pulsar. That's what a black hole should be called, a hydrogen pulsar. It's like, wow, it's so powerful, it's not only vanished from the visible universe, but it's emitting out trillions. You can look these images up. Just type in Galactic Jet or Astrophysical Jet on a Google search, and then look at the images of it. So if we follow a chain of logic, that's what a black hole should be called. It should be called a hydrogen neutron star or a hydrogen pulsar. Aliens from another galaxy far, far away. Black holes, well, we call them hydrogen pulsars. That's exactly what they are. Because if it's emitting hydrogen, that means it is so incredibly powerful that it's emitting light of such incredible intensity that it has entropied all frequency, all transverse, because it's the highest capacitance possible. Makes Mother Nature really simple, doesn't it? Thanks so much for watching. Goodbye. The mistakes in this video, mental note. Edit them out. That's the part where I flicked myself in the face with a pencil. And what was the other one?